I'm going to call this meeting to order of the North Woodby Park and Recreation District, regular meeting on Thursday, March 23rd, 2017. It is now 6:33 p.m. Commissioner Shingleton will be doing the minutes for us. Any agenda changes? Mr. Hoffmeyer, Commissioner Hoffmeyer, do you have any agenda
Could you give me
changes?
just a second, please?
Yes. Commissioner Fort, do you have any commission changes?
No.
I have none. Commissioner Shingleton, do you have changes?
I do. I would like to add to new business, NWAC contract proposal.
NWAC contract, sorry. Contract proposal. Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Hoffmeyer.
I seen an email from Kaz last night. Did you need any action from us on that at this point, or?
On the incidents with...
No, on kind of the,
Outlining his
Oh,
point
right.
of
That's
view.
just, that's for the future meeting.
I just want to make sure you didn't need nothing from us, so I'm good then, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's one of the things I brought up in the last meeting.
I knew that, yeah, and I just didn't see that on
Yeah.
here, so I wanted to make sure.
So happy that Kaz put something in. It'd be nice if we get some other
You're,
commissioners.
you snuck in. I didn't even see you. Okay, public comments. Ms. Pig?
Yes, I just wanted to, I know I emailed the commission, I just wanted to reiterate that on behalf of the NWAC families, our interest to continue to talk together and find a way that we can continue to sustain the team, and that really right now our group is active and interested in coming up with some great ideas, and we just really need to understand the financials so that we can have a clear understanding of what that delta is, what we're working towards to ensure that we can sustain the team. So as we have clarity from the district about what that amount is and how it was derived, then that'll help us be able to move forward, and it sounds like it might be on the agenda tonight, at least discussion about a contract proposal. So, but I just wanted to reiterate that.
Okay, thank you. Board issues. Commissioner Shingleton.
I was simply going to raise the April meeting date, but do you want me to save it?
Didn't we put that in?
You did.
So it's an agenda item, so we can do that. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
I do not.
Commissioner Ford?
I do not.
Commissioner Hoffmeyer?
I've heard some concerns out in the community that maybe we're not doing enough to get the levy passed with it coming up. And I've tried to ensure those people that we're doing everything we can do. But I wanted to suggest or ask that maybe you could use your power or your duty as chair to maybe appoint a few community members to the levy subcommittee as well. You know, likes of a Julie Wilson or a Carolyn Pape or somebody.
I do not have that authority. I have the authority to accept volunteers, and we've asked for volunteers, and
Yes.
I've been told that I was specifically told the NWAC parents are not interested because NWAC is in question right now. And so it's like, I totally get that. I understand that. Other members of the community who are not NWAC parents, if they think we're not doing enough, I welcome their participation.
Is it okay if I ask them to contact you?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely,
Perfect.
please, because I absolutely, and I said this, I said it at the levy subcommittee meeting. I actually don't have the expertise
Yes.
to run a program where we're trying to get
And I think
a
you
levy
said
passed.
that
It
here
is
as
not.
well.
It is not my. It's not one of my things that I ever did for the Navy.
Yes.
Surprisingly, I have raised money, but it's like not ever tried to get people to vote in a certain way,
Yeah.
because we don't do that in the Navy.
Can we put something out front that says, ask for volunteers? And all these parents here and all the aerobics and so on and so forth. Some of them would probably be volunteers.
I know.
I just don't think they know about it.
Last time I was on the outside looking in, this was 6 years ago. Carolyn, I don't know if Carolyn was here at that time yet or not. It seemed like, if I recall, it seemed like Julie Wilson might have been the person that kind of headed up the people that put together all these brochures and door knocked and stuff. So I don't know if
Who
anybody...
is Julie Wilson?
She's been here since the place was built. Other than that, I don't know. I don't know. Cass, do you have
I've never heard of her. I don't know her.
I haven't-
What?
Would you know how to get a hold of the Wilsons? Would they be interested in helping with the levy?
Do you know who they are?
I know who they are, and the second question answer is no.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
Alex? I know it hasn't necessarily been people's intent to pick on NWAC, but I feel it sounds like it's the same reason she doesn't want to help either. And I don't know how we get everybody to put that aside, because we've got, basically by July 4th, we need to do what we're going to do. There needs to be something put together by that point in time, and clock's ticking. And I hope that people can understand that this board has done their best to do the right thing and maybe put differences aside, all of us. And I don't know, is there a way that we could advertise for help there? Or something more than at the front desk, a website or something?
Well,
Facebook?
I'm,
Yeah.
So can this be referred to the levy subcommittee?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll go back. It's,
We can do
the
that.
levy subcommittee is working on
We can do
it,
that.
so,
Okay.
all right. Approval of minutes. Okay, so we have not seen any of the minutes, and I am the last person to bitch at anybody about how long they take to get written, since I know I had some sitting for 6 months whenever I was secretary. But I have 2 sets of minutes that I'm concerned about. Mr. Hoffmeyer, the November 21st minutes, we didn't have a recording of it. So that does concern me, because since there's no recording of it, we actually don't have any record. So, do you have a plan for how you're going to, do you have are your notes for that meeting sufficient enough that you can write them? And if they're not, have you asked?
I will get with Kaz.
Okay,
and-
Kaz and the other members who were here,
Yes.
maybe they had minutes that were just scribblings
Exactly.
on.
When I think through his action items and anything else, we should be able to determine if there was any final action on anything, I would think.
Okay.
I
Madam
hope.
Chair?
Yes.
In that case, I actually sent you, as soon as we knew that it didn't record, I actually sent the two of you a summary of timing and motions, so.
I recall that,
it's-
actually.
It's relatively complete, actually,
Okay.
because it was a short meeting.
Thank you
So-
for that, Wendy.
Okay, but
I'm pretty sure.
that set of minutes is more important that we get written, because there's not an audio copy. So if
Okay.
you would put that one on the top of
I
your
will.
list to get
I
done,
will.
that would be awesome.
Madam Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we circle back at the end and give kind of the due date for when we would need these minutes? I am remiss with one of them, and I'll admit it, but can we give when we would need them for next month? It would just be helpful,
Correct.
but we have to look at.
To get,
once we
when it
get-
has to be in to
Yeah.
get approval.
What-
Yes,
Okay.
but we need to set the meeting date first.
Oh, that's true, that's true.
It would
Okay.
just be helpful for
Yes,
me
thank
to
you.
write that on my calendar.
Thank you. That's-
Thanks.
Okay, so,
I have
yes,
relate to those.
yes.
So I'd like to ask the director again if he could please post the ones we have approved. There was a special election in November of 2015, which I think and then December of 2015, which I gave you, and you said you would post those. They haven't been posted yet. And please post the 2016 ones that have been approved.
okay.
There's some that haven't been posted.
Okay, I will
Okay,
follow
thank
up
you.
on that. So it's,
2000, the special 2015, it was the one just before the end of 2015 when they approved the budget, and then December 2015.
before 2015?
No, just before the end of November 2015.
okay.
Remember,
Yeah.
you guys all had to come in and get the budget done at the last
That was
minute.
that last one before you guys.
Yeah, and then there was that one in December 2015 when Shane and I first started.
So, and all the ones from 2016, you said that have
And
been
there was,
approved?
there's a couple, I think, a couple of 3 that have been approved, at least, I know at least a couple, 1 or 2 of mine that haven't been posted, so, that I have turned in. And they were approved. Thank you.
Okay, voucher review. Do I have a motion on the vouchers?
I move that we approve voucher 7466 through 7494 in the amount of $25,156.13 and payroll transfers from M&O account to payroll account in the amount of $41,857.73 for a total of $67,013.86.
Oh, shoot, you added it up. Tell me again what the total was, 67?
It's on the-
67.
agenda.
Oh,
13.86.
oh, okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We just heard it. Is there discussion?
Let's see. That belongs on this
The chairlift battery, and there was something else that went with the chairlift charger. Is that our brand new chairlift and we already need a new battery and charger? Or, and is that typical?
No, it was broken. A guard broke it, inadvertently trying to move it around and it snapped, so we had to get another one. So.
Alrighty then.
But when it got ordered, it's still under warranty, so we're gonna get reimbursed back some of that.
Oh, good,
So
thank you.
there's some of it that'll be, I just don't know what part that is yet.
That's a lot of money.
Treasurer's report fall under this. I have a question about what unclaimed property was.
Yeah, I can answer that. Yeah. So unclaimed property are checks, refund checks, that, so whenever people want a refund for something, they fill out a form, we send it to county. County either mails it to them or sends it back here and they pick it up, however they want to do it. If they're lost or uncashed or for whatever reason, they're not cashed or, liquidated at that point, then county is supposed to, get the right word they use, they're supposed to void it. Void it, and then they're supposed to transfer the money back. Well, for the years 2011 through 2014, they weren't doing that. To the tune of, to us, of about 365,
Well,
300.
this looks like an expense as opposed to something.
Well, it is because, it's an expense because they didn't void it and take the money then. They're just now voiding all the checks and taking the money now.
Are we gonna get that money?
Nope, that was money that would have gone to not to us.
But it would have gone to other people, but did those other people get paid?
No,
So the
So the
county's
county
just
keeps it?
taking it?
the money, hang on, let me get this right here.
Seems like we should get it
They're
back.
Yeah.
supposed to, well, see, what they do is they void the checks and transfer the money to unclaimed property. And that's what that unclaimed property is. But it wasn't done, so now the money has to be transferred to unclaimed property, so we get hit now for it. It's $366.35.
So we have to pay for their mistake?
No,
No, we haven't paid, yeah, we're
Yeah.
paying now for it, because it didn't happen, when people got a refund check in 2011, they did.
That's what I'm just saying, we're paying for their mistake.
Yeah, but.
well, it's money that we would have paid, we would have lost 3 years ago, right?
That's 6 years ago.
Six,
in one case.
back in 2011, so it's money we would have lost then, or we would have spent then, but we didn't. We've had it sitting on our books, apparently.
Yeah, because I know it's never been in the P&L before now.
Yeah, I had never noticed that.
Well, no, this is the first time it's been here like this. Yeah. At least
So,
in my
is there
take.
any way we can, so,
Do
Okay.
we know who, I mean, because what I'm worried about is someone's gonna show up and say, here's this check, and it,
Then they have to take it to county.
and then county
and
will,
they have to
it won't
get
come out of us
they have to
twice.
They get a form notarized, and go back to county, and then county deals with it at that point. And then it'll come out of that unclaimed.
Okay, so it's money that we spent a long time ago, and,
so.
or we should have spent a long
So we
time
don't ever get
ago.
it back. It sits in this unclaimed property. If nobody ever claims it, whatever happens to that unclaimed property?
Yeah,
Well, I know on property taxes, there are people out there that call up and try to find who it owes and get money to find them their money, so maybe something
There
like
must be
that.
a statute of limitations.
I don't know. I don't know that.
Okay, all right.
Along, on that same report,
Machinations of government.
do we know why it doesn't balance? So we have a cash balance, we have revenue, and then we have the expenses, and if you add all of those together, it doesn't balance to that total. So I'm a little confused by that.
I would swear we've answered this before, and I don't remember the answer.
Well, we've
Yeah.
done it before when someone was looking at the wrong part of the page. And so I don't know if there is more to this, but currently this doesn't sync as the only part of this account.
Commissioner Hoffman? Is Joanne in there?
Not in her chair, but let me look.
No, okay. Then I'll have to find that answer for
Okay.
you. Sorry.
Thank you.
what should balance?
Well, so at the top, we've got the 39,858, and so that was our balance in
Okay.
the account, and then we have this revenue in the amount of 36,210.36. Right, and so if I add that up, which I'm not going to, it'll be 76,000, and then we had expenditures of 62,531.86. or actually 249.86. But then the calculated total, so that would be about
I
76.
don't understand that.
Minus
whole thing about
62,
minus.
that would be approximately $14,000 or in that range. And yet it says 65,897.73. I'm just trying to figure out why it doesn't balance.
Yeah, me too, that's.
Um,
and
Well,
I-
listen, because the minus 39, doesn't that mean that we're minus 39? It's not a positive cash balance of 40, almost 40,000.
Well,
It's
then
like,
why aren't we taking money out of the reserve? That's why,
Yeah.
that's why, I mean, I don't understand this whole thing. That's why I sort of asked, I think the county, why can't they get whatever they reconcile their accounts? I mean, how do you know when we're going to have to draw money from the reserves? When will our maintenance account's gonna go down to zero? I mean, I don't know how you can function that way with the county not telling you anything.
Because on a daily basis, I know how much money's in the M&O account.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Can you just tell us what was in there today?
Well, not right now, I can't, but, no.
Because that's sort of why I asked for that, and I would assume that, and I couldn't believe that you didn't. So now I know that you know what's in the maintenance account.
Yeah.
And you know in these other three accounts. Oh, okay. So
Yeah, I know.
because I was under the impression, I mean, from what you're saying was, well, we don't know what's in the maintenance accounts because they haven't reconciled it. And it's like, but I mean, come on, we got to know.
County hasn't done their reconciliation, and that's why, like last year, we moved on that one, that the other three.
These are unchanged. Okay.
Yeah, they're all unchanged.
So it means you haven't had to draw anything from the reserve yet?
Not yet.
Are you getting close?
Yes.
Yeah, I would think so. From what I've looked at, it looked like we're within $25,000 as of,
Yeah.
And the point here is that we should see the indication of that with a low balance in this account, right? I mean, whereas we started the month
Yeah.
with 39,858,
Yeah.
and we should be at about 14,000 right now,
Right,
which
yeah,
is
'cause-
significantly different.
so
We're gonna have
when you
to-
show that as a negative, that's kind of a bad thing.
That's
That's
there,
the
that's
county, yeah.
counties, that's not us, that's county that does
yeah,
that.
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, there should be consistency either way, whether
Yeah.
it's, positive and negatives, it should be consistent, you're right.
I'll have Joanne give me an answer, and I'll
Okay.
email you all of it.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, actually, when I added everything up, it seemed like we've already gone through the maintenance account. And all we have left is.
Well, we
What's in reserve?
get daily deposits or cash receipts
I know,
and
but
stuff like that.
But we gotta be teetering on the edge right
Well,
now.
we're very close. I will hit it at least once before May, at
Okay.
least once, probably twice.
Yeah, before the end, April 30th is a drop, right?
That's
Yeah,
usually when we get the next big
Mhm,
chunk.
mhm.
We get a decent chunk
right.
in April, but it may delay it a little bit.
Well, last year was actually dropped to April 30th. I looked it up.
Well,
The
yeah,
224,000.
200, yes, that's right. But we don't, to prevent what happened before, the dual entry, until we get the treasurer report, we don't put it in the account. We know it's there, but we don't put it in there so we don't make that mistake that was caught a few years ago where
Oh.
a duplicate entry on the levy disbursement occurred.
So we may have to actually borrow into May, is what you're saying?
No, we'll know the money's there,
Okay.
but we won't, she won't put it into the books until
Okay.
we know
But
for sure it's
But we're
ours.
covered probably as of April 30th.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, did you have any other questions?
No.
Mr. Hoffmeyer? Mr. Singleton?
No.
What's that look for? Get over yourself. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that district vouchers 7466 through 7494 in the amount of $25,156.13 and the payroll transfer from the M&O account to the payroll account of $41,857.73 for a total of $67,013.86 be approved. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. It's unanimous. Okay. Moving on, committee reports. Clover Valley?
Yeah, we did meet out there. pretty much the only thing that came up was they wanted to know if they could move ahead with building another, I don't know, pavilion, I guess you'd call it, gazebo type thing. And I think Kaz had authorized them to build one not to exceed 200 square feet, I think it was. And, you know,
I'm waiting on them to give me the name of the person.
so that was pretty much the only thing that came up
They
out
can do
there.
most of the labor.
They're doing
Yes,
all of it.
And are they providing the materials? and
Yes.
stuff?
Well, other than if some of it comes out of what we have budgeted for Clover Valley.
Okay,
But that would be the, yes.
Do we have a plan for it?
Not yet. So what Commissioner Foch asked me to do, because we own the land and we're our own municipality, they don't have to have county up to 220 square feet, I think is the right answer. They don't have to have a permit or anything, all we have to do is approve them to do it. So I'm just waiting on him to give me the name of this, it was a county sheriff.
It was,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, and once I get that name from him, then I'll write the
Or-
letter approving him to build
Well,
it.
I think my question was more around like, hey, it's gonna have cement, from here to here that's gonna hold up.
Yes, we'll get a.
Okay, it just seems like something that we probably want to start with,
Yeah.
rather than
Yeah.
go, oh, we forgot that?
Yeah, well, Matt has some.
Not trying to
input in
insult
the
anyone.
letter. Matt's our
Not
maintenance.
yet, because I haven't gotten anything from
Yeah, I
them.
know, eventually, though, I mean, he's a maintenance guy, so he
Yes.
should probably.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's where I was at too. I totally agree with that. The other thing I've noticed, and it's no fault of anybody, but it is the Clover Valley Committee. You know, it's not the Clover Valley Dog Park Committee. And if there was some way to get some interest out in the community again, they can come to us. But if there was some way to get interest from at the bottom of the hill from the baseball type people, it would be nice.
Well, you know, you could, when you're gonna meet,
Yeah.
why don't you call Gino? Was that the guy's name from the?
From
No,
Babe Ruth
the
would
Babe
be.
Ruth guy.
Well, Gino is Oak Harbor Little League.
Oh, okay, that's where I saw the
And
name.
And
Yeah.
you'll see in the,
Is Bill still the head guy out there?
Bill
Babe Ruth?
head manages the, well, he's not the head guy, but he's the guy that does all the work out there.
But you
And
might,
then-
you
and then
might
Joe
call
Schwartz will
him.
I will, see if they have a parent
And,
that.
you know, do they, maybe he's interested in coming, because he's,
Absolutely.
you know, and that way, and let him know, it's like, this is, because we talk about maintenance and stuff like that. If there's
Absolutely.
something that you're concerned about, bring it to the
And I
committee.
still, you know, with the levy coming up, I think the Clover Valley Park's one of the best assets we have, you know, with community outreach, et cetera. And later on tonight, we'll find out as well. I'm excited to see the advertising proposal, but I think that was all that came up. You don't recall anything else?
No, the fields were starting to look good. They've done a good job getting the fields groomed for the Babe Ruth League, which has already started. And in my staff report for the executive director, you'll see a thing. I met with Gino Wolf about they're considering whether or not they're going to need to use the softball field for Little League practice. So it may bring us some more revenue, and that was because you coordinated that, or,
Yeah.
well, you did the third-party introduction, so I appreciate it.
More people driving past that sign.
Yep.
And I don't know if any of you guys personally, you guys were on the board with Gino, were you?
Wait,
He's doing very well. Very well.
Good, good to hear.
Very well.
Yeah,
So
he had
it's
surgery.
exciting. Yeah, he's doing very well on a lot of fronts.
I thought, I was like, isn't that our Gino?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, all right, anything else?
No.
Okay, program review committee did not meet, levy committee,
Well, actually, I had still had a question, sort of relative to the program review committee.
Oh,
but
okay.
I sort of brought that up, and Kaz answered most of it. So is the program review committee going to raise? In other words, last year, back in March, we talked about we were bleeding out in the swim
yeah.
and
And we-
the private swim, and now suddenly, well, we're not bleeding out so much in it.
No, you were exactly right, other than we said last year that it's like, we'd talk about, again, looking at it, and we have not done that. But yes, that needs to be reviewed, thanks for the reminder.
Okay, thank
Because we
you.
said we would.
Okay,
So
thank you.
we got kind of stymied. Levy committee, or okay, levy committee, and I was incorrect about something that I said, and I said we needed to have the words for the levy proposal. It doesn't need to be in May, that's just when people's names have to be in. The words that we have to have aren't due until August for the November election. So,
right.
we're good. I still would like to, the levy subcommittee, I would like us to work on it and get it done as much as we can next meeting, levy subcommittee meeting, so that we can go forward. and not do it last minute. So I still want to do that, if that works for you. But that was,
The May 15th through 19th are the people that are gonna run,
yes.
potentially one that wants to run for an office that's up for election.
So when do we have to have the amount of money we're asking for into the county?
August.
August, oh.
Yeah.
I thought it was, yeah.
So you mean the election bill? Oh,
Yeah.
no, I know
For
what
the-
you're talking about.
for,
Yes, yes.
The words that we need to get to
For
the,
the M&O.
yeah, but we need to know, for our next subcommittee meeting, we need to know what is it that how do we phrase what we send to the committee or to the county? Because the county actually then puts it in words or something. I'm a little still confused about that, but,
I'm trying to we're negotiating a time to meet with them
Okay.
next week to do that. To
Okay.
find out what they see the timeline process and all be, so.
And will they also give you an estimate too of basically how much, remember I asked about how much you thought you could get based on the current levy?
That's one of those action items
Okay.
from those.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
okay. Action item review.
Okay, good segment. So I did meet with Pete and we went over the kayak equipment and I don't have the list in front of me, but the stuff that's there is in huge disrepair. And but understand these weren't, when boats were bought, it was boats that were bought. This is things
Understood.
like skirts and wetsuits and flotation devices and some expired flares and some things like that. So they're not safe. I wouldn't send someone out with those things that need to be done, so. I have my department heads are polling their people now on for the EAS thing. So I'm supposed to have that by next Friday for the employee advisory thing.
Okay, thank you.
I'm supposed to have that by next Friday, so we'll be able to discuss that in April. We're still looking into the roof leaking and sealing stuff. Matt's working on that. I'm waiting on, we're going to do a letter of appreciation to Les Schwab for the tires out there at the, they look pretty good, what they did with them, the tires out of the dog park. But I'm still waiting to get the name of the guy at Les Schwab. I know his name's not Les, so I want to get the right name and put that in there. I'll get that letter off to him. The next one was exploring the options for other options for lower insurance for next year, and that'll happen whenever Jeff Olson, and we're going to meet this summer and work on that. The clean water fee, what it is and why we're behind. So the clean water fee was passed in 2010, and it's a tax on property owners to fund specific surface water programs and groundwater programs. And we're behind because whenever they renamed all the streets and all the addresses, for some reason, 85 Southeast Jerome, what it used to be, was never updated in counties. So we had like 2 or 3 years of that. I think I told you last month, we got a letter of
I know.
foreclosure from them. They were going to foreclose on us.
I know, but it just, I mean, they screw up and we pay.
Yeah. So anyway, we should be close to caught up right now, and Joanne's verifying one more thing. But on an annual basis, it'll be about $120 is what the fee will be on an annual basis for the 3 properties that we have.
And do we pay property taxes?
No, not like.
So does it come due like at the beginning of the year, when people pay property taxes? I mean, when do we pay it? Do we
It
know?
comes in April, and
When property taxes are paid? Okay. Which, that's okay, because that's when we're kind of flush, so, all right.
okay. Next thing is the investigate Whitby Bank. So I need to go back and meet with her another time. The reason for the last one, for the line of credit not getting approved, and it was a line of credit for potential maintenance, is the way it was given to them. So there was nothing to have as collateral, and so that's why they're like, this is a weird loan. We don't have collateral. We need collateral. So I'm gonna go back and meet with her again, and then I know you were gonna give me the name of a guy over at Savvy or something.
Yeah, Savvy Bank there.
And I'm going to look around some of these other banks and say, if this is what we needed money for, would you guys be able to work with us on this? That was an unsecured loan, basically. And then I'll find that out. But I've not finished all
Doesn't seem
that.
like we have a lot of time to work on that, potentially. I mean, the disaster could happen between now and April 30th, when we really need to get the loan.
Good.
So it seems to be pretty important that we get this done in the next week or two.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, and again, if Heritage is being appealed, they're at Savvy Bank or Savvy. I think Michael Can, who used to be the CEO of Whitby, is their CEO, and Ron Wallen is their president, I believe. So, but I think they'd be willing to help us out, I would assume.
Okay.
Yeah, but they have responsibilities to
They
their
do.
shareholders, and they
Yes.
have laws they have to.
But if it was something, if we needed a new boiler, I think they would consider that boiler collateral. You know, if it was a water slide, I think they might
Indeed,
consider
it's something like that. But just to
collateral.
get something to go, oh, hey, we got a pump that failed and we're gonna,
Correct.
and we need that, yeah. But
Or even worse,
to
we need to,
Commissioner Fort's.
we need to patch our
concern,
roof.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Okay, the Matt, so I think it's in my notes, but Matt, one of our suppliers is out of Bellingham for some of our stuff that we do here. And they actually offer a CPO course, and it's actually cheaper than what the people down in Seattle have been.
CPO stands for,
The Certified Pool Operator.
great, thank you.
Matt has to take it.
Yeah, I know
by
he
the
did.
fall.
So it's a cheaper one? Huh.
It's cheaper, and it's just, and there's no overnight stay in a hotel, and there's no
Okay, thanks.
anything like that. So he's going to do it with them, and then he's going to find out about the ozonator
Great,
versus
thank you.
UV. However, Eric Mislinski, when we were out there and we were talking about that, he works in the pool industry. We were at the Clover
Okay.
Valley subcommittee meeting.
Uh-huh.
He said the ozonator
No good?
is not nearly as good as the UV.
Okay.
In his
All right.
industry.
Yeah, okay.
But Matt will get the right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I just looked it up on YouTube and so on and
Okay.
so forth, so it's pretty primitive.
All right, so, and then the last thing on here was a redo of the pool schedule, and so, you're right, this is unusable, but it's the, I've not, since I've been here, I've seen this, but there are times that don't go straight across and they don't do it. So if there's one that was done before, and you've got it, I can try to make it work from there.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to tweak this a little bit. There might be a way to merge some columns and stuff to make, where you can get bigger font to it. I'm gonna work on that. But just so you know, this doesn't go to patrons anymore. It hadn't gone to patrons probably since November or October timeframe.
Either one of those two?
Well, this one, the old
No.
they get this now,
Yeah,
which is on Monday, lap, swim, water walking, and there are the times. Tuesday, there are the times. And so this is way easier to read for people to come in and get. We use this one for, if we're going to move something, what does it impact? So it's a visual picture.
yeah, the only problem with the one other one, at least for me as a swimmer, is it's hard to tell whether I'm in here with some other groups.
That's why I like the
So
other
in other
one.
words, if I'm sharing it with aerobics, I only got 3 lanes versus 6. But
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
And if
And,
we're,
and being an old man who can't get his arms up over his head, it's hard for me to share lanes. So I try to come when I got a fairly decent chance of getting a lane to myself. So, because I don't want to knock arms. I've
Okay.
knocked arms before and
Good point.
get
Well,
disgruntled.
Can we ensure that both of them are
The other
online?
swimmer's disgruntled.
I mean, even if we only have that, I of course love the other one because it's visual, but I get
Yeah.
that one. But can we ensure that they're both online? Not the iChart one, sorry, nothing personal. But the kind of the picture-y one and whatever, but
Yeah.
that I was like, oh, I might actually go blind, try to do that.
One of them is online, I'm just not sure which one it is.
If we could do both, maybe that would,
yeah,
because then even if the one that's for handout
I mean,
is this one.
I mean,
you
I
say
can
you
figure
look
it
up-
out. I just have to look around and find out what other times they're on. It's
Right,
just
but
not,
we
it's
should be
not
able
as
to post
easy.
it online.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
but if we have it done, they can both be done. But I will find the one where the time's all lined up, and it just,
Okay, that would help us, because then
Okay.
from there we might be able to find an old electronic version, which
Yeah.
makes it simpler. But,
okay.
okay, that's it.
All right. Unfinished business, running club update.
Okay, so we met again, and so our recommendation to the commission is an introductory rate of $50 per person. This will be for ages 10 and up. It covers 16 sessions. The first course is planned to start May 2nd and go through June 22nd. They'll meet here on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5:30 to 6:30. We'll check in.
Talk slower, sorry, I can't.
Oh, okay.
I don't see it all written down here, so I'm having to write.
Okay. Are the dates on there?
No?
No,
02 May through 22 June. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 17:30 to 5:30 to 6:30. So they meet here, sign in, so that we have a record of who's here, and then they go out, stretch, go do their run, and then come back. So
and it's $50 for each student for the whole,
it covers all
Okay.
16 sessions, correct. 16 sessions makes up a course.
okay.
So, went back, you have some updated numbers. Really, the only update was the hourly rate went from 17 to 16. I was using the old numbers for Brad, and so it's down. But it does drop it from 720, it dropped it about $48. So that makes it a little bit more palatable now. So instead of $728, it's $680 minus t-shirts. I'll talk about that here. So at $50 a runner, plus the $500 that we're going to get from the Megan McClung Foundation, we would need a minimum of 14 people, and then that would cover the cost of the course, less the t-shirts, and then we could use the donation, which is about $15 a t-shirt, to cover the t-shirt part of it. If 14 shirts is $210, so that's what the, our minimum sign-up is going to be 10 people. If we don't get 10 people, we're going to regroup and try again in the summer with it.
So if you have a minimum of 10 with the McClung donation, we still don't have to pay anything. It's all covered.
It would all, yes, the donation would still cover,
Including
And still-
t-shirts.
including t-shirts, and still have about 170 left over at 10 people. Less than 10, we're gonna regroup and
Right.
come back.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Can I just ask, I apologize, but is our expectation that the person who's coaching this would be either has a background in this area or will do the minimum for coaches for the state of Washington?
What's the minimum for coaches for?
Well, so for a high school coach, there are 2 online courses. One is free and the other one is paid. That basically you have to take within a certain period of time if you're going to interact with the kids.
Oh, the kid safe thing?
I don't think that's actually. I mean, for high school, there might be a different standard for elementary. I just know what the high school standard is. Just in terms of either a background in this area or some expectation.
Well, there's a long time running, so there's a,
Well, that's.
yeah, so that's.
I wouldn't count that. I ran for 25 years and I wouldn't expect myself to be a coach for kids. So.
Okay, yes, sir.
Well, in relation to that too, as a physician, in other words, high school, all those people have to get like a physical before they go into sports. There's certain silent cardiac things that when they're under stress or they run can cause a heart attack in children. So do we require them to get a physical? As a matter of fact, we require the swim team to get a physical.
I know that baseball, football, and soccer doesn't require any of that
Yeah.
stuff.
It's not?
No.
No, yeah.
Well, they don't require them to get a physical,
We have a
but
kid
Wait,
sanitation
what is-
form.
It's part of the contract. It's in the contract that we signed when we joined the community.
That says what? Your kid
I
is
think it involves you of the.
responsibility?
yeah. But I know, so I know the Little League has the same thing. They
Concussion
actually,
form.
yeah, they have 2 different forms that the
Medical
parents have to
risk,
sign
concussion
here. That says the medical waiver and also the Little League district declare a commission talking about concussion and sudden cardiac arrest.
That's the Zachary
awareness.
Lice thing. In the state of Washington, if you play
So-
sports with the helmet, you have to sign the concussion protocol.
So there is something in these, it happens. Every once in a while, some poor kid drops dead. Nobody know why. Well, it's because they have one of these rare cardiac conditions that nobody knows about unless they get it examined.
And part of my reason for asking is liability related as well. I mean, that's,
Even happened, it happened to a guy in basketball, college, so, these things happen, it's because there's these cardiac conditions that they're rare, but unfortunately, they happen.
I'll check into that and
Okay.
and I'll find out what's required and.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Or just find a paramedic that likes to
Because
run.
obviously, we already got this problem with insurance.
And if we're gonna have a program that's being run by somebody who doesn't have any kind of official bona fides, other than she's a runner, we need to make sure all the parents understand that. That it's like, this is not someone is a trained coach in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, yeah, that's.
Yeah, and they should know a little bit about
And you should-
heat exhaustion and so on and so forth about, if the kid's not drinking enough fluids, stops perspiring, it's time to
Check with
stop running.
check with our insurance people whether they're okay with that, because we have lifeguards who are trained lifeguards. We have a swim coach who's a trained swim coach. Everybody has qualifications, and I hadn't even thought about that, but it's probably because I don't have kids. So
but if I was gonna take an art class, I mean, if I realize that we would say that this is maybe a more casual thing than someone taking swim lessons, right? I get that. But if I was gonna take an art class, I would presume that the person would have some background in art other than I just really like art. And I'm not trying to be flippant, and I'm not trying to, I think it's I'm happy that we're doing this. And I recognize that it might not seem like that's the case. I'm really happy that we're doing this. I just want to be sure
So what
that we
kind
protect ourselves
of
correctly.
background do you think they have to be a runner? Do they have to be like a previous college runner? Or?
No.
Okay, some
No,
sort of,
there-
there's probably no
literally, there are
there's no certificate, I don't
There are
think.
there are two classes that you can take online if you want to be a coach in the state of Washington. Literally. And that
So you want some sort of coaching certificate?
something that says, that because I would think that some of the things you're talking about in terms
Yes.
of physical exertion, that those things would be covered.
Yeah,
Understanding do's and don'ts in terms of contact with children, things you say, things you don't say. I mean, I think
Okay.
there are a lot of
I see
things
what
it
you're
covers
All right.
that I think
So-
we
so
need to
more-
just be.
More specific to coaching training than
How many
to
times are they
specifically
gonna run?
to a specific.
It's two things. There's coaching fundamentals. There are two classes: coaching fundamentals, and then it's whatever discipline. So whether it's track and field or whether it's
So
gymnastics.
they do break it down.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, I didn't know that.
Yes, that's for high school coaches. That's what they do.
Okay, all right.
I think usually with youth
My daughter's a
sports,
runner at the high school.
Okay.
I think quite often what a lot of the parents are looking for, and being a baseball coach for the last 7 years, sometimes this is frustrating, but they'll run 16 times if this moves ahead. It's cheaper than any babysitter in town, and that's usually what the parents' expectations are,
But they were the first ones that come and sue us when
Oh, we-
something happens to little Johnny,
definitely
and
need all of our
it's like,
full-time
we need to
assistants.
make sure all the
Absolutely.
T's are crossed and I's are dotted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
But we don't disagree with you.
Yes.
yeah. We recognize that, and it's like, and I think it's an awesome idea. I want to do it, but I don't want us to get sued.
May I offer a proposal?
Yes.
You may.
I would like to press forward as if this is going to occur, because we need to start marketing. And
Yes.
then we'll close the loop in the April meeting,
Okay.
that, prior to it, that either what I've discovered, what's been done, and what's going to be done prior to the course starting.
Does
And
anyone-
we're answering sort of Commissioner Singleton's question.
Yes.
And the medical one. So does anyone have an issue with us pressing forward and advertising it? Does everyone seem that good? Okay.
How, the advertising is included in the cost or no?
No, it'll go up on the website. We'll press
Yeah.
it.
Okay, all
We
right.
have an
We're not-
advertising line item.
Okay.
We're not doing anything that's going to cost us money to
Okay, great, thank
advertise.
you.
All right. Is that all in the running club? Thank you. Notifications, patron comments, and that was Commissioner Shingleton. you were the one that wanted us on the notifications was,
And I think we're good there.
oh, okay.
Just, thank you, by the way, for the note about, even though it was somewhat it was the, gee, here's what happened on property and whatever. Thank you. That's specifically what the first half of this was referring to. And it's just more of, in case someone comes to us and says, oh my gosh, what happened to the pool the other day? And we're like, I have no idea. What are you talking about? The patron comments was just, I know back when I was first on the board, and I haven't seen any since, and maybe they're still available, but whenever we got patron comments, they were specifically given to us, and I don't know if we just don't receive any, like written comments. I mean, we know that people can send us emails, but I think a certain percentage of our population is probably not inclined to doing that. And I wasn't sure is that input still available? Do we still have patron comment forms?
Yes.
Okay, and encourage people to fill them out when they're unhappy with whatever. Do we receive many? Okay.
Not often, but we get some.
Okay, can we, because I would certainly love to ensure that whenever we do get them, that the board sees them. So either, I guess my proposal would be that either, one of us distills them, and I'm not by any means volunteering to do this for life. But just something so that we understand what, because at the time, they were all related to the pool temperature, which I think, at least, I haven't heard anything of recently. But if we do receive them, it would just be great. I think I assumed we received more. It sounds like we don't receive a whole lot, which isn't a bad thing. But if we do get them, I would love for us to maybe get a copy of them in our folders so that we can just see what feedback people are giving. Is that realistic? Is that fair? Okay. I would just like to know, and especially right now, the word levy keeps coming up, but just being sensitive to what people's concerns are, I think is a good thing. So that was it.
So let's try this, if this works, is that for the next month, just any that you get, just make a copy and throw it in all of our folders. And if it gets to be too many, then we will go back to somebody will distill them. And
No, I think that's kind of strong.
does that work for everybody?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was the comments. Okay, 2017 district goals. Okay, so first, let's take a look at the 2016 district goals. Did you remember to look at them and think about them and think about whether we needed to change them? They're in your
Okay.
There's the packet.
in your packet somewhere, I know. Before the advertising, looks like this. Okay, so I think it would be of use to run through the 2016 goals for 2016 as a district. Let me check the time really quick. Okay, we've been here an hour-ish. And how do we think that we did in 2016 with the goals that we set last year? So, promoting water safety in the community. Did we do that last year? And I think the answer is yes, we did, but I don't know that we improved on what we had done the year before, but I would give us I would say a C, but it's because we went to the schools and we went to all the schools and all the third grade classes, is that right, Kaz?
Second and third and more, depending on the school.
Okay, so we went to all the schools and did water safety, gave out packages and stuff. So, and that was what we had done the year before. But I think that's a solid C. It's
What
like,
else can we do?
I don't know, but that's kind of like, if that is one of our, if that is a goal of ours to promote water safety in the community, is there something else we can do? And C is passing. C is average. It's like, I would not say that was, that was a goal. We achieved it. We passed.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
being the process person that you know that I am,
Yes.
our process was supposed to be that we did this review that we're doing right now at our quarterly financial reviews. And so while I think it's fine and good to go ahead and give ourselves grades on these, I think part of the problem is if we don't have a maintenance process. If we succeeded in these, it's not because we intended to, it's because we just happened to, right? We never looked at these again after we did them. I'm just being honest. And so I think for me, part of it is we can go through this, but none of these successes will be because we specifically intended to do any of this, because we never talked about them after we created them.
I don't think that that's true. I know that Kaz mentioned them every time we did the budget. He mentioned, I looked at the goals and he did it. It's what he mentioned it several times. I looked at them.
I know that in the budget that we passed, that was kind of my goal, and some of the directions that, or some of the recommendations that I had made to the director over the year was kind of based on our goals as well.
Okay, I guess we're talking about different processes here, because typically when you
Different
do
interpretations.
improvement, well, it is, but it's also, so what we're saying is that, well, you can internalize this and try to succeed at it however you see fit, whereas typically what an organization would do is say, promote water safety in the community. What are we doing in order to do that? Or, create positive childhood experiences. What are we doing in order to do
And
that?
she just did what we're doing for the.
But it's retroactively to last year,
Well,
and so
but-
I'm not sure that it's kind of it's happenstance rather than a result of good planning.
As long as we're working towards these things, I think that's the whole point of this. It doesn't mean we're going to achieve it in 2016. We're going to be working on. And we're going to continue working on them in 2017 and
And I don't
beyond.
disagree, but typically what you do is you break down in different areas what you're doing to try to achieve it.
I think some of them, like exhibit respect, civility among board members and staff members. I think we all knew that was our goal, and I think that in general, we've came to every meeting trying to hold to that goal, even though at times it might not feel that way. I really do feel like we've tried to think about what these goals are and stick to them. The critical maintenance plan, that's being put together. I think we have a meeting with that coming up here shortly.
Yes, we do.
So, but as far as scoring it right now, that wasn't even really the intent. I don't think the intent was just how many of these goals do we want to keep for 2017? Do we want to add?
Okay,
et
so
cetera?
if you don't want to talk about how we did, then that's fine. So, and that is fine. I was just trying to say,
I think
like,
to figure out how we did, to figure out if those are goals we want to keep or not, I think it's a good process, though.
yeah.
I do. I still, I would like to see it included. I don't know if we're close to them we were a year ago. I really would like to see us expand our offerings back to that water slide. I'm the water slide guy, better than the tennis court guy that was on the board, I hear.
Well, okay. So, does anybody have anything they want to delete or to add, or do you want to just go scrap this entirely for 2017?
I would like to see us expanding our offerings, and where I'm coming from there. Say a water slide costs $30,000, just a random number that's actually pretty close though. We have 7 open swims a week.
Yes.
I mean, so if we brought three extra swimmers per open swim to a water slide, and we booked 1 extra birthday party a month, we're paying for that thing. And I think it would go beyond that and increase revenue, honestly, myself. And I'm not saying as a board we could make that call, but I would just like to see
Let's just
expanded offerings and see what staff comes to us with,
It's just speculating whether we'd increase the pool usage at the open swim for having.
Well, it might be speculation, but I seen a very interesting thing on St. Patrick's Day. They turned down the lights, turned on the radio, threw glow sticks in the pool. There was 140 people in the pool, and there were, okay, let's just say there were no more
But it
than,
didn't cost too-
let's just say there were no more than 35 parents watching, because
But how
that
much
would,
would it cost to do that versus putting in a slide?
well, that's what I'm saying though, but, so if that brings that in,
Yeah. So we're talking cost benefit here.
But
I don't know.
like I said, that's staff's job to come up with those numbers and proposals
Okay, yeah, I
and look at what
agree.
other pools have done. But so I would like to see it say expanded
I
offerings.
mean,
or
we're
something.
already sort of don't have a lot in reserve right now, so we need to, and we got a full roof problem, I think, takes priority.
We need to figure out how to increase revenue immediately, I would agree. I think there are only a few ways we get there personally.
I think going to a bond for repairing the roof is going to be real popular. Like we suggested.
I mean, that's the only thing I would like to see added though, is expanded offerings and that's up to staff of what that is. I know the director has some ideas. I know some commissioners have had ideas about
Well, how about
music
expanding
in the
the
park
offerings
or this or
after
that.
the pool budget and the
I don't think we
pool
ever,
reserve and the pool budget and.
I don't feel that we
and
get
building
there.
maintenances.
I don't think we ever get there without expanding our offerings.
Would that would be under promote healthy living and recreation to the people of our district. So you want to expand the district offerings
That's what I would like to see.
and leave it at that and see what they come up with that they would then present to us.
Absolutely, I mean, they're the ones that are here 40+ hours a week. Does Anna Cortez have any results back from the whippets that they purchased?
Haven't heard anything,
Okay.
but it seems to be a
It
hit.
seems to be a major hit, yeah. I keep hearing people all over Oak Harbor talk about it. I guess they added some floaty thing in the pool that you can jump off of, and I don't know what all it does.
Okay, is there a motion about the 2017 goals, or shall we just go on to other business?
I make a motion, 217 goals be as reflected in the 2016 goals plus
That,
change.
do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the 2016 goals be continued for 2017 with the addition of expand district offerings under promote healthy living and recreation to the people of our district. Further discussion?
Can you repeat that?
Okay,
That sounded like a lot more than he said, and so.
No, it wasn't, it was just better worded.
it's been moved and seconded that the 2016 goals be continued into 2017 with the addition of expand district offerings under the category promote healthy living.
Why would it be under promote healthy living?
Because it doesn't go under improve, strengthen public image, or maintain clean, safe environment at district facilities. It's more like promote healthy living and recreation to the people of our district.
And I just think, with expanded offerings, I think we would be promoting people to get out and to do healthy things.
Because it doesn't have to be just pool related. It could
Absolutely,
be,
no, not at
yeah,
all.
it's like the running
Yeah,
club.
Absolutely.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
And the chair votes aye, so it is passed 3-1, and I will do a roll call vote. Commissioner Hoffmeyer?
Aye.
Commissioner Fort?
Aye.
Commissioner Shingleton?
Nay.
Commissioner Holly votes aye. The 2017 goals are established, and we will talk about them and bring them up as when we're making budget decisions, and also talk about how are we going to go forward with this. And maybe that's something that we should actually put in our agenda items maybe every once in a while, if not, just to say how are we doing on the goals and what are we doing to do it. All right. Signage. And I'll wait for you to finish writing.
Indeed. All right, so I wasn't sure if we went over anything last month, so I'm making the assumption we did not.
We did not.
Okay, all right, we skipped it all together. So there's probably more here, and hopefully everyone's kind of read it. But so just the proposal is additional revenue via advertising, and so I tried to be comprehensive in this. What would be the scope? Generate revenue for the district by selling ads in 3 places on our property, the pool sound panels, and we had it disappeared apparently, or is it back here? Okay. There it is. It's bigger than I remembered. If in case anyone hasn't seen this. The most awkward thing in the world. There it is. But so this is a sample that Oak Harbor Times obviously had created, and while it certainly would need a few modifications. This is a sample of what those sound panels would look like. Dog park,
Downtown on the ballparks, you mean, down there? 'Cause-
no, right there.
Oh,
See, all those
okay.
white-
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Yes.
The ballparks downtown have some of these.
The dog park fence space, I think, meaning internally, because the road doesn't have a lot of good viewing there. And the ballpark fence. And so that would be trying to be comprehensive there. So just why do it? Because it could potentially help us address some items on our maintenance list faster. It demonstrates a commitment to improvement to district taxpayers. So in other words, creating our own revenue streams. Creates partnerships with local businesses and community members, which I think is really important. The potential benefit for us is high, and it really is a low effort to implement once established. And then growth. One of the things that have been said previously is that growth for the district will not simply come from getting more people into the pool. That is one strategy, but that we need alternate strategies, and that it would be a low cost of entry. And I kind of just threw this based on my discussion of 1 to 2 years ago with Oak Harbor Signs. We could do it, however, so in terms of the how would it work, they would sign a contract with us. Oak Harbor Signs, their preference was that the business would go through them to get the sign. We could do it however it would work. That isn't, for example, how Little League works. But
How does Little League work?
They sign it, and then they basically work through the Little League organization to get the sign created.
Okay.
Those at the ballpark are wood, and they're
Yeah, it need to be for the wind, yeah.
and so basically they would create the signage for us wherever we went. Just to give you a little background, and if I'm going too fast, let me know. But I'm assuming y'all have read this. I have talked just initially to both sign companies in town, because one of them does the Little League signs and the other one has, did this for us and expressed an interest and much support for the pool. They both have the capabilities to do these, so whereas I think I put in here, and I'm not there yet, I just put that Oak Harbor Signs would like to do it. I think, we should kind of bid it out, or just compare the pricing to see if, what the opportunity is. And then, so create signage according to the sizes, business specifications, and advertising guidelines, which would need to be created. And there are some really specific guidelines that need to be followed based on the case law in this area. That I have all that information from MRSC from when I asked them initially about it. Signage is installed, and if we think that it's a good idea, also create a sponsor place on our website that the people who are actively doing sponsorships, that we add them to the website as well. And then we would need to define kind of what the feedback and renewal process would be. And then one of the thoughts that I had was, and I think you guys also talked about this separately, but since we have a strong user group at the dog park, and it of all things, it receives really the least amount of funds. One thought would also be that we could designate any revenue from, for dog park signage goes back directly to the dog park. And to your point about it's not just a dog park, I would potentially, even depending on what we think we could get for internal signage for the ballpark, I would suggest potentially doing the very same thing. For two reasons. One is then we have revenue to pour back directly into those facilities, but also we create that stronger, I think, partnership with the users there as well. It's a thought. And then kind of what needs to be done to make it happen. Complete the baseline for size and pricing. Complete a draft contract. I have lots of sample contracts.
What's WIP?
Work in process. Sorry. Complete a draft contract. I have lots of examples, lots of samples that pulled from here and there. Verify any county sign requirements met for road placement at ballpark. So anything facing exterior, That actually turns out to be a lot more complex. So that would be, my hope and suggestion would be that maybe we could move forward on the other ones and do a little more research there. The reason being is that the county code relating to signage, we actually, if I understand it correctly, we could put one sign there. So we can't advertise for lots of other businesses, but I want to gain some clarification on that.
Okay.
Because of course, looking at that intersection, it's a lovely space for advertising, if we can find a way to do it, but obviously I know we want to stay within the law in order to do so. Confirm supplier for signs, so again, I think it's a matter of confirm suppliers, so who's gonna do which signs, because the proposal, like my suggestion, and I can do all of this, if we have a consensus to move forward, a certain size, probably the dog park 18 by 24 corrugated, which is what this is, the ballpark, we could determine, I would ask them for their recommendations. This is corrugated.
And it'll survive in the rain. Is it plastic?
It is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, my solution, I made some signs for an election last year, and many of those signs, and they were much lower tech than this. They survived months and months outside, and that was for an $8 sign. So I think it's probably more durable. I think the reality of them is really more how to deal with the wind and how to fix them than anything else.
Okay.
And so again, it would, the follow-on things would, create a registration form, publish it, create a website page for sponsors, attend the chamber meeting and take that registration form, make them aware of that program, and then call on local businesses if we still had space. So my suggestion would be, if I haven't felt like I've heard or seen any negative responses, there still are details that still need to be worked out, and what I would ask is that if everyone's okay with it, I can make a motion if you need me to. Oh, sorry.
One question, yeah, could you also give us what the estimated startup cost would be, for example, printing the brochures, et cetera, et cetera?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes, and so what I'd like to do, to kind of segue with that, what I'd really like to do is to create a proposal a more formal proposal back to the board. Of course, unfortunately, I missed last month, so I was hoping to be able to do that for this month. But I'd like to present something with a little more detail. I just didn't want to get to that level of detail if there were serious objections to it. But absolutely, it's here's how much this is going to cost. Here's how much we could charge. Here's what we would be looking. And if it's okay, I would like to kind of bounce that off of you, because I think there's some I don't knows that you probably know the answers to. Okay.
I'll find them.
You have all the answers.
What?
You have all the answers.
I just don't know where they are.
Okay, does anyone have any negative feelings about it?
Not negative, I had some input. I'm very glad to see this moving ahead. This is something I've supported for a long time. The only minor tweak I would like to see, and I don't disagree with your intent at all, sometimes I feel like maybe it doesn't behoove us to handcuff the director and staff's hands. Down where we were talking about the strong user group at the dog park, I would like to I would like to see that say, since we have a strong user group at Clover Valley Park and it receives the least funds, we could designate the money from ads there specifically to Clover Valley Park improvements. Understanding that, the director, if somebody wants it to go to the dog park, that's probably where it's going to go,
I'm not sure I understand the difference, but okay. I mean, I don't have any problem with it.
So it was for the whole Clover Valley Park instead of just at the top of the hill.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Just to maybe give the director more options if something were to come open. If the backstop blows over at the bottom of the hill,
Gotcha.
maybe the $1,000.
Okay, so you say the difference is
Yep,
the dog park,
understood.
Clover Valley Park.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Just so, say that happened, we had to go out and borrow money, even though we had this money sitting here, but it's off limits. It's like, oh.
And this as a proposal is just,
Yes. Yeah.
I completely understand, and I think that would be more of, lack of a better term, a gentleman's agreement. I mean, we could formalize it,
Yeah.
but I think if we're all saying, yeah, I'd be cool with that, then what I wrote here kind of doesn't matter. But I mean, I agree with you, I think that's fine.
And if something happens and we would leave it up for a while, but let's say by March of 2018, the tax supported sign on the building had to come off out there. Maybe that's ad space as well. I think we all hope it doesn't come to that. But this is a good start to help curb some, some of the deltas that we
Less
see.
Schwab,
you know?
John, and like Memorial Polo,
It may.
just to throw less under the bus again.
It may very well
That's a
happen, and I don't know if Bob Sebo's still around, but
For
he
$20,000,
he
you
was
can
a
put
good
your name on
benefactor.
this building.
Well, but there have been people that have given Whitby General $800,000 or something. So you never know. I mean, who knows? You never know. So
Who are they?
I know Bob Sebo gave Whitby General $800,000 at one point. I don't know if he's still alive or not, but he was a good benefactor. He's the guy that started all the Sebo stores at one point. So there are people out there. You never know.
Okay, so
Horse
no
race.
objections.
There
No,
are.
Move forward with the
Carl Craig's one of
presentation
them.
next month.
Yes.
Is the expectation. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you
I'll
much.
hit him up
Put
on
that on
April
the agenda for next
8th,
month.
open it
Thank
up, hit
you.
him up.
Okay, set the M&O levy coverage special meeting date. I want to digress first because Commissioner Shingleton wanted us to move the April regular meeting. So how about if we do that first, and then we'll know how much of April we have to play with. So, Commissioner Shingleton, when our meeting is currently scheduled for April 27th, which is the fourth Thursday, and I believe you wanted to move it to the 20th, the third Thursday?
No.
Oh.
No, I will
Oh, that's
be,
right.
yeah,
Tuesday.
I will be out of country, yeah, so either Monday or Tuesday of that week would be, if people can make it, I'm trying to, those would be the
Yeah.
latest dates.
Monday, Tuesday of which week?
The 17th, 18th
So the
of
17th or
April.
18th.
Of April.
Yeah.
Either one of those times and dates works for me. Commissioner.
Again, going back to what we brought up, a long time ago when we set the schedule, was we're going to have any information from county at that time, or are we going to basically be working?
A treasurer's report should be here, whether it's all reconciled and everything.
Uh-huh.
But we'll do our best to make it happen. It just may be something that we don't have.
So are you,
But I'm gonna say the 18th because I'm committed
Okay.
on the 17th.
okay.
If that's what
Okay.
we want to do.
Thank you. Again, my apologies, but I'll be out of the country, meeting up with my husband who's on cruise right now. So I appreciate the flexibility, I really do.
I mean, if it was, if other people couldn't make the Tuesday work, we'll have it on the Thursday it's scheduled. But if you can make it work, I would rather that we have as many commissioners as possible.
I am still waiting on a Little League schedule, baseball schedule, as soon as I get that, I'll pass it on to everybody. So I don't know what's gonna come up there. It may be that April 18th works for me and the other day didn't work for me. So as soon as I get that, I'll let everybody know. And
All right, is
I
it
am-
consensus? Does everyone agree right now that 6:30 on the 18th of April will work for us for that meeting? Okay, so we're going to move that to 6:30 on the 18th of April as our regular meeting instead of April.
Thank you.
Now, so sometime before that, I believe, is when we wish to have the M&O levy coverage special meeting.
Comment on that. Yes, I've brought this up before. The director's given me input, but none of the other commissioners have given the input and put it out on the website so we all can have a chance to read it before we have this meeting. I think we should be out, your all opinion should be out there at least a week ahead of time so
Okay.
we can have a chance to digest it, so we can come in here and talk about it without having to try and read through it as we're going through the meeting.
Okay,
I agree.
and I agree too. So how about, so today is the 23rd of March. So if we have our meeting, we could have it on the 6th of April or the 13th.
let's do the 6th.
If we do it on the 6th, everyone needs to come back and respond to, now do you want to respond if we reply all? Just don't respond, send it to everybody. Just say what you disagree with on his figuring,
Well,
and, but.
rather than just picking apart mine and his, why don't you come up with your own ideas?
I liked yours.
Okay, well, you
So-
must have some differences.
Yeah, very
Okay.
slight.
So, okay.
But it's always better to be able to pick somebody else's,
Yeah.
to start with somebody else's and say blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. But if you totally disagree with what Commissioner Ford put out, put in your own, but send it to all, and then no other responses, because it does have to be in public opinion. And we will bring all of that to the meeting on the 6th of April. Do we want to meet at 6 or 6:30? Any preferences? We always start at 6:30, so.
Let's just do that. That
Okay.
way, no one will forget, like I did last time.
Okay, so that's the special meeting
And so we would want that input by,
by,
End of March.
yep, so by next Friday, put that out.
Yes.
And I would remind the members of the audience, we don't have audience comments or the public comments during special meetings. So if you have something that you want to say to the commissioners, just send us an email also before the 31st. And I will promise to read every comment that anybody sends to me. If you want to write them on a piece of paper, get them to the executive director, also by the end close business on Friday the 31st. He will put them in our folders at the front desk, and we will all read everybody's comments on this topic.
We want to see the information.
Yeah, I'll get it. I'll pass along what Commissioner Ford sent, I'll pass what anyone else sends, I'll get out to you.
Okay, so we have set the special meeting for 6:30 p.m. on the 6th of April. Thank you. Next topic, employee handbook. Where are we with that?
I think I have 12 pages left of edits in the appendices is all I've got left to go, and then I'll
Okay.
get it back to you.
Okay,
I'll get it to you as a smooth paper copy,
okay.
and then we can sit again after you've gone over that, and then I believe, I still think, depending on what your schedule is, I think you're going somewhere in April too, aren't you?
Just for a week.
I think we can have it ready for the April meeting on the 18th. Would have been easier on the 27th, obviously, but I think we can have it there, because really the intent was to let them take it home for a month and look at it and
True.
come back, so it's not like it's
Let them,
So-
the
Them, the commissioners.
commissioners.
Is this an updated one? I thought we did this last year.
No, that was a bylaw.
well, no, we did have a non-start, which basically meant that we spent hours reviewing the wrong copy.
Oh.
And then we never did anything more, and that's how this ended up, and you're like, whatever happened to that. So
Yeah.
you are correct.
Okay, thank you. I knew we talked about it.
No, we started looking, it's like, oh my God, what is wrong with this?
Okay, thank you.
So, no. Yeah. I've got some time next week, so.
So the
That's good.
expectation is for the April meeting, we will have a draft copy given to us that we can review for May.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, new business, employee sensitivity training. It's been a couple years, probably need to do that again.
Okay, I just finished it today, because I went through CIAW's, I'm working with them to find out what I can do, that I don't have to bring someone over and sit them down. And it only took me 30 minutes on a computer.
So there's
It's online?
It's online.
Oh,
So I'm gonna find out how I get all the staff here, maybe they just use the same login I use, or do they each have to have a unique login?
Okay.
And then we can set up a time where they'll come in before a shift or stay after a shift and go through. It took me 30 minutes to go through it. It was
Here's the
not-
difference. I thought it was very, very helpful the last time that we did it for people to be able to ask questions in the group. And
Okay.
so I would say have everyone do it, and they have to do it by a certain time, and then have a sensitivity training debrief or get together where people can ask questions and they can talk about things that are specific to this workplace. I think that would be helpful.
All right.
well, and last time it was when we were still covered by Honduras, when
Yes.
they were still our provider. So they did a live training session.
Yeah, I heard it wasn't that good.
I would totally disagree, actually.
I thought it was very good.
And that's, again, for me, it came up because I found my materials and I was like, this seems like something that we should actually be doing annually, but it was done 2 years ago. And I wasn't sure what CIW, what their process was, and it sounds like it's different.
Well, they do offer, like next week when Bruce comes out, they offer that kind of stuff, and it's at no cost. Well, actually, there's a cost because for that particular thing, because the person has to have certification. So it's minimal just to make sure the person can be certified. But other than that, we don't pay for expenses for travel or anything like Bruce. I think last year it was like $1,900 was the value of what him coming over here for, but we're not charged it for him to come over. So,
That's good.
But, I'd say we try it, try the online to see if it's effective and
and then follow up.
Would you send us the link or whatever so that we could look at it? And we should be more sensitive, but I definitely, let me look at it as a chairman, but you are free to take it or not, depending on how sensitive you feel like you are.
I think it was really helpful, though.
I thought it was very helpful.
We were all required to come for it, and I thought it was really helpful because there were considerations in this type of environment, which I think Endurus probably understands a little bit better than CIW, but that people, part of why some people may not have liked it was because they didn't like some of the message, but that was pretty spot on.
It was the presenter. Everything I heard was about the presenter, wasn't about the content.
Yeah, and certain things, for example, about, hey, you need to pay attention to what music that you're playing and ensure that it's not objectionable to people who might be swimming in the pool. And there was a lot of, that's really stupid. And it's like, but it makes a good point that clearly no one in the room had really thought much about. So I felt like there was really good, relevant content that wasn't just about how we interact with one another, but how we interact with the public, kind of on a micro and a macro level, if you will. So anyway, but I'm curious. I would actually like to take it because I would like to know what we're.
Yeah. So she's the lady I'm working with, Patty Ferguson, isn't back till next week. So I just went ahead and did the training today just to see.
That's great.
Because I have login, but I don't know that you go in there that you can see it anymore because it may be linked to me. I might have to get a unique login password for everyone.
What did you think of it?
I've been through it so many times in so many years. It was a good refresher.
But did it make you roll your eyes at all? Because just remember the young kids that are doing that. Was it a good refresher? That's my question.
I don't know how to speak to how a different person is going to react to it. For me, it used to, depending on the company I was in, it was an every 2 year or every 1 year requirement to go, like security briefings were every 1 year. I think the information was good. It explained the law. What is this? What isn't? What doesn't constitute it? So I think it's good. I thought it was good.
Okay. All right. Send it. So action item. Send us the link or whatever we need to know to.
Yeah, as soon as I can get it, as soon as I talk with her again to find out that if you can use the same login password as I have, or if you need a unique one.
Yeah. Or do we need to come in to do it from here or something?
You should be able to do it from home.
I would think so.
Yeah, it's just a login password.
Okay. All right. Event review P&L. That was something that I know I would like to see. Every time we do a special event, can we do a P&L on it and have the exact cost and kind of a hot wash up or this is how we did, this is how we can do better. And it's a way that you guys can look at an event to say, this is how we did, this is how we'll do better. But also, so we can look at it and say, we want to keep doing this. This was good, in these ways, this is why it's good. And it doesn't always have to have, we made so much money. That's not always the case. But it's like if it draws different people in or the same people come in and they have more fun or a different fun, this is all good. But if we could do a P&L each time we do one of those special events, that way the board knows that you're looking at these events. And we're not just doing because it was on the calendar last year, so we're going to do it again. But let's say because we're doing it because it really is worthwhile.
Is that referring to like this Halloween invitational swim?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We had asked for that question or that information, and it wasn't. And as detailed as I wanted it to be anyway, and then it was kind of like, how come we don't get these all the time? And it's because if we don't specifically ask for it, we never got one. And we should be doing that for every special event.
We will.
Okay.
Thanks.
Why do I keep taking these off? I can't read. All right, cash flow statements. And that is Commissioner Shingston, because I don't really understand them.
I don't think it's a new request. It was just kind of a, you know, the original request was more than anything on a quarterly basis, looking at cash flow projections. Specifically, we're talking right now about, hey, are we low? You know, where are we low? When are we going to borrow from ourselves? And so it's partly trying to understand that, as well as we move forward and we look at when can we plan for major purchases. I know that you know when, oh, here's when we get the levy distribution, for example. But really, it's a matter of trying to understand our financial health as we move forward. And you know, I truly will celebrate the day that we don't need to borrow from reserves, which, you know, meaning just to make payroll.
He didn't say that.
What's that?
He didn't say that.
Well, no, I know that, but if we're looking at building on the health, I mean, this is actually just a snapshot, so I'm not saying that it's going to change anything.
Yeah.
So maybe I got ahead of myself, and that's fine.
Yeah, because
But-
we may have to borrow something.
Right, and this isn't, I mean, it's not a new request.
Okay, all right.
It just is one that I think dropped off. And I'm not sure exactly why that is, but it's something that I would really love and honestly, you know, hope to see for our second quarter review.
Okay, well, I don't agree with you on this one, because I don't need a cash flow statement to do what I do here. I know when the money's gonna be low. We have to build the reserve, we have to build the M&O. Basically, I'm building a savings account and a checking account. And they both, one needs to come up and the other one needs to come up. I know when my cash flow is low, and that's usually first quarter of a new year.
But can I just, but this is also about transparency. And I believe that absolutely. And so this isn't about, and transparency doesn't mean I don't trust you. It means transparency not only to the board, but transparency to the taxpayers. This is a really, I mean, this is not an unusual request. So it doesn't mean that you don't know and understand. It's really about communicating that, just like we do with other things.
I don't know that I follow that, but I do understand what a cash flow statement is, what it does, what its limitations are, and it has big limitations, especially for here. For transparency, there's a quarterly budget review, so we go against the budget there. I don't know how much more transparent we can be.
Well, I would actually, I think that's a separate thing, but I would disagree with that to a certain extent. And that's I think that's a topic for another time.
Okay. The cash flow statement is a postmortem.
It can be, or you can do projections.
It's great if you can project, if I know what my revenues are going to be every month, then I can do it. I can do it with my
Well,
own
you
finances.
could use a forecast, right? I mean, you can use a forecast. Mortgage companies do it all the time.
Well, sure, pipeline, people do forecasting of pipelines and all sorts of
Right.
stuff. But it's a wag. They're wags at best. Because you don't know what business is going to close and who's going to do what. And I don't know when people are going to come in here and spend money. And I pretty much know what, assuming nothing breaks, I pretty much know what my expenses are going to be throughout the year. I can go by an average of what my revenue is going to be coming in here. But to create the work of putting together a cash flow statement that I don't need to do the job, I'll just say this, I'd spent 17 years in the corporate world, 9 business units of across 5 companies, and the only time I saw a cash flow statement 3 times. I prepared them twice, and I was doing a merger and acquisition.
And see, I get them annually from the companies with whom I own stock because it's a legal requirement.
Well, yeah, the brokers send that to you, but
Right, but
Okay, good.
because it's a legal requirement.
But it's not a legal requirement here.
I understand that, but it's a legal requirement in a corporation for a reason. And here's the other thing that it brings that we are having trouble with currently. I think we're doing a little bit better, but you have kind of those three categories. And so you have kind of your operational money, which is, right, you have your debt, which currently we don't have any, and then you have your reserves. And so it's a financial picture of all three of those things together. And we've struggled with that a lot.
Yeah, but I think, I was gonna ask you that, because I think you said it hasn't been reconciled, so you couldn't give us the answer. Well, you gave us the other three funds tonight. And you went ahead and said, in the maintenance fund, you know every day what's in the maintenance fund. So you could still give us what, even if we don't get anything official from the county, you could still write in, here's what we had in the maintenance account as of March 1st or April, and just like you do if you got the official reconcile from the county. So you just told me tonight, you know what's in the maintenance account daily.
Yes.
Okay, so that's all I'm asking. Why couldn't you tell us that on March 1st? Say, this is what, the county didn't give us this, but I know this is what we had in the maintenance account, and that snapshot view on March 1st. See, that's the same, that's all we want to know is what was on there. We understand it's a
That's
snapshot.
what the treasury report is.
Not the treasury report, what's in the maintenance account? What's in 646?
That's the treasury report.
No, that doesn't, I've looked back at the other ones. It doesn't have this minus crap that nobody can figure out what the heck that means. You can't tell me that, is that, we're down to $86,000? No, there's a certain amount of money still in the maintenance account. It's maybe only $25,000 right now, but there's a certain amount of money in the maintenance account, and you know what's in there because you just told me that you did daily.
Then we're misfiring on what you're asking and what I'm receiving you to ask.
You're giving us, like we pointed out, that we couldn't understand what that meant, this treasurer's report, because you started out with minus $39,000, and you spent $36,000, and now you've got minus $65,000. How can you have minus? You got to be taking that from someplace. You should, if you had a minus, you had to start borrowing it from the reserve account. You haven't. You told me you haven't bought it and borrowed any money from reserve account. So we haven't used up all the money we started with in the maintenance account. So how much was in there as of March 1st? That's all I'm asking. That's all I was trying to get at the whole time. It doesn't have to be the official, what the reconciled thing is. If you know what it is, then just tell us. We don't have the reconciled thing from the county yet, but here's what I knew was in there as of March 1st. And then here's the other accounts that haven't changed. That's the same information we've been trying to get all along. That way we sort of know month to month, okay, here's how accounts are going. We know how much we spend each month, and we can just sort of come to a conclusion as to, well, he's going to have to borrow some money somewhere the first or second week of April. You see what I'm saying?
I do now.
Okay.
It was a misfire on.
Okay. All right.
My belief, the treasurer's report was good, that it was the three things that.
Well, the treasury report, there's actually, if you go back last month, there's this treasury report, and then they break out 646 in a separate account that shows actually how much is in that maintenance account. This doesn't really kind of tell you that page there.
Well, it will it'll show you March 1st whenever it's reconciled, but right now you're correct.
Yeah. So
Okay,
basically.
now I understand what you're asking
Okay,
for.
thank you.
But, so back to the actual topic, I think one of my concerns here is, when you first started, I asked you about it, you said it's gonna take me a little while, and I never heard anything more from it. I certainly never once heard from you, no, I don't think that's necessary. And so for me, this is the first time I'm hearing that from you. And that's concerning to me.
I don't know why it's concerning, other than the fact that I didn't follow back up. Why is it, what's concerning?
Well, if you thought that, I'm not sure why you didn't come out and say that.
Probably because so many other things have been overcome by events here that it hadn't even been in my mind for a long time.
Okay. I'd like to revisit this next month, potentially.
Do you want to?
Because I don't think we're going to resolve it tonight.
How about, let me suggest that Ed, you come up with what you think is the cash flow statement that works. and we can look at it, because I honestly, I told you, you had to explain to me what a cash flow statement is, and I don't know, because we didn't use one in the Navy, but that's because we didn't deal
Yeah,
with
'cause
cash.
I'm not
So,
sure
if-
that I need cash flow statement.
But-
What I need is that information on those 4 accounts, first of each month. Thank you very much. I know it's a snapshot view, and I know it changes daily, and I know all that stuff, but I still want to have that information, and if you have the information, even if it's not in the official form, please tell us.
So how
Can I
about
add
if
something
we,
as well?
just a minute, how about if we get a look at what you think is a cash flow statement? Because until I started to see all these figures and understood what was in them, I wouldn't have known I need that. And it's very useful to me as a commissioner who's responsible to the taxpayers of this district. And it's like, I find what we get helpful when I understand what it is.
And if I may, I feel like that's not a fair request because you don't value it, and I'm not, because I feel like that's not a fair request to say, so you don't think you should be doing this, but can you come up with something? And I mean that sincerely. What I would prefer to do, which is why I said, can we revisit this, is I would like to bring what I would like to see. And I can certainly, and we can talk about the merits or lack thereof of that because I'm the one who's requesting it. I feel like that's a fair expectation for me to provide.
Okay. I like that. That's
Can
fine.
I jump in too?
Yes.
This whole thing was loosely tied to cash flow, I suppose. I think it's pretty important for everyone to know their role. I think it's important for the people on that side of the room to know their role, people on this side. I think it's important the director knows his role, and that we as a board know our role. The board's role is to set policy. The executive director's role is to handle day-to-day operations. I think to use a cash flow or not myself, I think that's day-to-day operations. But if it's a policy, then the board needs to make a motion and vote on it. Otherwise, this is stupid. I mean, I don't get what's been going on here over the last 4 or 5 months. And you guys seen how harshly I scored Cass on the preliminary eval. I think he's doing so much that he's asked to do and improve on, and I think he's doing a pretty good job. But if we don't take the damn training wheels off his bike, we're not going to find out if he can ride the thing, and he's going to crash, and so's this place. What is it, 7 months until the levy? This is the wrong time and the wrong place. Everything that's been happening.
Our job is also oversight. That is our role. It is not just policy.
When the levy only gets 50%, it's not my fault.
Well, I'm sorry that you don't see that as your role, but that is our role.
Yeah, Commissioner Shingleton wants something that will help her do her job as a commissioner. Just because you don't understand it, don't call it stupid, please.
No, I said what we're doing is stupid.
Okay,
And
stop.
if
Don't call it stupid.
If we want it to be our policy, then let's vote on it to be our policy. But what's happened over the last 20 minutes is stupid. If we want to make a motion and direct him to bring forward cash flow statements, then that's fine. I won't vote for it, but the arguing is what is.
There hasn't been any arguing. There's been a discussion, but I hesitate to say this, but I think it's really difficult when, during board issues, you kind of use that as a laundry list, and that's not what that's intended for. I think this is productive discussion, and what I suggested was that next month, I will come with what my expectation is, and once everyone has an example, they can decide whether or not they want to vote for it or not, if we want to move forward with it. That's what we're doing. I don't see
Okay,
a problem.
moving on. We talked about the April regular meeting, NWAC contract proposal. Commissioner Shingleton.
Madam Chair, I move that a board-approved agreement be executed between the North Whidbey Park and Recreation District and a nonprofit organization supporting the North Whidbey Aquatic Club regarding the financial responsibility of the swim club. The contract must cover all the club's expenses, including program staff. The agreement will not charge the club actual lane time in its first year, but must cover a portion of the district overhead in addition to program-specific costs. The agreement will also remove from district responsibility all NWAC-specific transactions, including but not limited to club and member P&S registration, club and member meet fees, coach travel fees, and all NWAC supplies and retail. The initial contract shall be for a period of 1 year commencing September 2017 and must be executed no later than July 31st, 2017. Failure to reach an executed agreement would result in dissolution of the North Whidbey Aquatic Club effective August 15th, 2017.
A second for discussion. I'd like to Did anybody else get a copy of that? Can we make copies of that for them? Because I don't think anybody can absorb all that.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move that we postpone discussion and consideration of this motion to the April special meeting.
I would rather see it in the regular meeting myself. I think we're already gonna have our hands full. with
Stop.
this meeting.
So you're not, I need a second.
I did second.
No, you seconded her original motion. She has now made a second motion that this will be postponed to the special meeting that we're having on the 6th.
Okay. I'll second it. But again, I think, can we
So,
have this
absolutely.
distributed to the people before that time?
Yes.
I can do it right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can make copies of it right now.
So it's been moved and seconded that this proposal be discussed at the April 6th meeting. Discussion of just discussing that proposal, not the proposal itself.
The postponement.
Postponement, yeah.
I would rather see it scheduled for the 18th
Okay?
and
Well, nothing will be voted on during the special meeting. Special meetings just basically to discuss issues.
You can vote on
See-
stuff
see
at
if it
special
comes.
meetings.
Oh, can you?
Yep.
I'd rather see it the
Consensus.
18th, and I feel strongly enough to where I would consider not showing on the 6th, and if there was a quorum, then I guess I'm not able to do nothing about it. But I would much rather see it on the 18th when the public can comment, et cetera.
Madam Chair.
Also, I think we're kind of
Sorry,
hands
stop.
full.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I amend the motion, the postponement of motion to the April regular meeting.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is there a second to that?
Is there a second
I
amendment?
second, but can we not discuss it? I mean, because it'd be nice to be able to have it discussed maybe before we go to the regular meeting. But anyway, it seems like it's part and parcel of.
Could we
What
call
was
it
your, was your motion to postpone voting on it or to postpone discussing
Postpone
it?
discussion and consideration.
How about postpone voting?
Could we
Wait, stop just a minute, because we're still in the process of, so what is your motion was originally
It was the special meeting,
to act, no, sorry, because you made another motion,
I
to-
amended the motion.
amended the motion so that it would be discussed at the regular meeting on the
18.
18th of April. And that was going to be discussion and voting on it.
And that was seconded, so we're discussing that now?
No, that has not been seconded yet. I
No,
don't
it
think.
was, he
Oh, it
said.
was, okay, sorry.
Did you? I thought you did.
Well,
Sorry.
I did, you know, the consideration.
Okay, because right now what we have is you had seconded the original proposal for discussion. And then you seconded discussing it at the
Special meeting.
special
and then
meeting
seconded
on the 6th
the-
and seconded.
So
the regular meeting.
if we're now
The amendment.
discussing that, if we were to pass that to be discussed and voted on or whatever at the 18th, could we also, after that is voted on and approved, to have that on the 18th, could we review the proposal at the special meeting? That way we can all read
That's
it
what
at
I just
least?
said, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so could we change the proposal? I don't want to second your last one.
Okay, well, so then
I'd
that
like-
modification dies.
Okay, I'd like to
because
make
that
a motion
amendment-
that we.
We already have a motion on
We
the
have a
table.
motion on the table that it will be discussed
At the special
at the
meeting.
special meeting.
Well, we can always agree to, so if we agree to that, we can agree to postpone
The
the
vote.
vote. But that would have to be a separate motion or a modification of this
Yes.
motion.
Yes.
So, Madam Chair, I amend the motion, let me see, sorry, let me figure out how to do this. Amend the motion to include discussion at the April special meeting and discussion and consideration at the April regular meeting. Is there a
Second.
okay.
Is that clear enough that there won't be a vote or any final actions on the 6th?
Yes.
That's what,
It's just-
that's what the consideration means, yeah.
Okay. So it's been moved and seconded to discuss your original proposal, the NWAC contract proposal, at the special meeting and consider it at the regular meeting on the 18th of April. Further discussion.
all that was to say, I don't even know what the contract said, so I look forward to reading it. I
Yeah.
was lost along the way.
Yeah, I agree. I think people need to.
So I don't know if I support the contract or not. I just thought it should be done in the regular meeting, so thank you for that.
Yeah, so, and you'll get that out to
The
everybody.
motion.
Okay, and any further discussion on it? Okay, so we moved and seconded that we discuss that discuss the proposal at the special meeting on the 6th of April, and then discuss and consider it at the regular meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair says aye, so unanimously approved. Okay. And what we'll do is,
So we have a month to figure this out for our team?
No.
I mean, really, this
That- no, that's not what it
very
says.
badly for this community.
That's not what it says.
Unfortunate.
That's not what it says.
The decision on this proposal is going to be made at the end of April 18th. So the future of our.
but the proposal gives you several months to come up with your plan.
Right. I'll send you guys a
But
copy of
in
the motion
good
as well.
faith, as a public board, to engage us in dialogue never occurred. So the solution was reached without the engagement of the families. And we have yet to see transparent financials about what the overhead cost is for the team. So they're just, I really caution the speed in which you're moving forward. When you had a willing group of parents who were ready to engage in discussion. And it's really unfortunate.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, moving on. Next is staff reports. And Kaz, the Frontier get our fees back down, or because we don't have a contract with them, did our fees go up or something?
Yes, because I had to get us off a contract so I could move quickly if the city was gonna come through.
Right.
And the
And then-
cities,
okay.
as you see in the note, the city's having some legal issues, concerns with it, so I had to reinstate the contract.
Okay.
So now we can't do anything for a year?
Without repaying what the benefits of the contract would be,
Thank you.
yes.
And I noticed in the profit and loss thing, we show a revenue of $37 for meet host revenue. We didn't have a swim meet here, did we? How do we have revenue? It's only $37, but it just struck me as curious.
Well, it could be left over, it could be because we were going back and forth with P&S over the fees on it. When we pay the meat fees with a tax, we pay the P&S for what we do. It could be that, or it could be a potential late payment. I don't know. That didn't catch my eye, so I'll find out what that is.
And viewing room rental, January, February, 17th, it was a weird, $124.20. And it's like, did we somehow get a partial, hour or something? It just is, because you're supposed to rent it for a specified time per hour or whatever. I would have thought it would have been
$15 an
normal.
hour.
Yeah, that it would be a round number, but it was a weird, 20 cents, $124.20.
Maybe that's after it was paid by MasterCard, maybe that's after the MasterCard deduction, I don't know.
That was
And I had that, I knew that answer, and now I can't remember the answer, but I think it was a prorated amount of time that the room was used for a party. Because the high school swim team rented it an hour at a time, and that's how we did so well on it. Because the boys team used it for the little pasta party before.
Oh, okay, so it was like, they left at 17 after or something, okay.
Whatever, I'll find out.
Good thing we got this thing done in a minute. I'm just kidding. Right, because this is such a valuable rental space here.
Spa boiler,
I shouldn't say that.
we're at 27%, and it should only be, so this is an expense. Spa boiler, we're at 27% of our budget expended, and it's like, we should be at 13 or 14% at this time of the year, it seems to me. But it's like, so how did we get so dangerously over what we should be at? Or is it because it's really cold and it takes a lot more heat, so it's not going to be that bad during the summer? Is this normal for the spa at this time of year?
I don't know what's normal with the way we get billed for boiler and spa boiler, because it doesn't make, to me, it doesn't always make sense why 1 month it's this, and then we might go 3 months where it's relatively constant, and then we'll have a month where it's some aberrant number, usually high, and all that. We have never been able to figure
Does
that out.
PSE and, do they charge a different amount for spring and for summer and winter? Per kilowatt hour or
I
anything?
don't think so.
This, don't we have,
No, I
thought they-
isn't this like, what's that other stuff? It's gas or
Oh.
the
Yeah,
other.
that comes from Cascade, natural gas.
Yeah. So this is gas.
I know, but it'd be the
But
same
still.
thing, I would think.
Yeah.
You know, they would send a, I was under the impression a little bit, I don't know why I thought that they raised the ratio a little bit in the winter time because they had to generate more and they charge less in the summertime because they generate less. The reason I say that is because I was thinking I remember thinking about filling up my hot tub and thinking, well, I better do it before the rates go up. So maybe if the rates, I don't know, I'll have to look into that.
Just come in and use this one.
I'm gonna look into that, because I was thinking there was a change in rate in season, but I don't know, maybe they're not.
And
Say
then-
the same, say would work the same kilowatt hours or butane hours, or whatever it is.
On the last page, 80.41, professional services. I thought we were moving porta potty out of professional services. Isn't that, I know this came up when we were talking about the budget.
Indeed, it did.
So it's still there. So
Okay.
that just jumped out at me.
Yeah, one of the other things that, that I had asked to be broken out as well is, sorry, I was looking for it, and I don't think I circled it like I said I was going to. Oh, yeah, I did. Under intergovernmental other, I don't recall what that was, but I had asked when we talked about it near the end of last year that we be a bit more specific because it's the big dollar item there.
It's
yeah.
the audit, but okay,
Okay,
it's the audit.
great.
Where is it? Where is it? I don't see.
It is on page 5
Other
of the
total other services, that one?
No, it's on page 5 of the P&L under intergovernmental. Because I believe that there was
I see
actually
it.
more than one thing in there. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Well, that's where the clean water utility would end up in that and stuff like that. so.
And I think because and granted, we won't see those numbers all the time, but it just would make sense to just have a little more clarity with that, I think. Wrong.
Yeah, I like that one. Okay. Oh, and did you guys have anything from, okay, and we have our employee of the month is, where'd she go? Tanya Melendez, who apparently is leaving us. She's working at the CSS. She's done a great job, and she is leaving. Is her husband getting orders? Is that?
Orders.
She is, yeah. So he is moving on to bigger and better things, and hopefully so is Tanya. And we thank her for her great service.
Yes.
All right. Final board comments.
Yeah, I just have a few things. I think as I've sit here over the last 5 years, either on this end of the room or that end of the room, I'm not implicating any current board members in this, but the last 2 full-time executive directors resigned for the stated reason that they couldn't work with this board. So I really hope that we're not entering into a territory to where we are becoming that board. Maybe Kaz is willing to put up or tolerate more than some other people are. Again, what I said earlier about what is our role and what is policy and what is day-to-day operations, as far as what the M&O should cover, I really feel like that's day-to-day operations. And I feel like at that point we would be just needlessly handcuffing the director. I have asked for him to provide, an executive director assessment of the profits and losses of each of the district's main programs so that we can review that, as we're trying to determine what the M&O should pay for. And I'm out in the community a lot, and what I hear is somewhat troubling. what Mrs. Pape said when she walked out the door is what I continue to hear. And when I heard earlier in this meeting from Kaz that there is a family out there that I believe has helped pass every maintenance and operations levy since this place was built, who helped build this place, that they feel so slighted by this board's actions against NWAC that even they will not help us pass the M&O. I don't think there's no coming back. I definitely feel like my seat in November is in jeopardy. And I think the two that aren't running in November are lucky because I think the other three of us are gone. And hopefully they can get it done by February. That's all I have.
Commissioner Ford?
Nothing.
Commissioner Shingleton?
Nothing, thank you.
And I would like to answer, I hear out in the community nothing that you hear. I read your email that you sent to us and I thought inappropriate, but that is not what I hear at all. I hear from people that are not in favor of paying for other children's swim competition clubs. Just so you know, that's what I hear.
And I feel
And no, this is my comment. You finished. You had your comment. You don't get to say anything else. So I think people vote for the levy because they want the pool to be here. They are not voting in favor of NWAC. That is, people vote in spite of NWAC, they vote for the levy because they want the pool. You can shake your head and you don't believe it, but it's like, I'm telling you, that's everybody I talk to. So, having said that, that is our final board comments are done. Our next meeting is Thursday, March 30th at 6 p.m. The special meeting for commissioner training. Be here, aloha. The meeting after that will be Thursday, April 6th. Special meeting at 6:30. Following that, Tuesday, April 18th, regular meeting at 6:30. Thank you. We are done, and it is 8:30 p.m.
Madam Chair?
Oh, yes.
I move that we adjourn.
Oh, sorry. I forgot. Sorry. We have an adjournment, a motion for adjournment. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Chair is in favor. The vote is 3 in favor, 1 apparent abstention, sulky. And so we are adjourned. Thank you.
Just shocked by the in spite of NWAC.